Lads, what's going on? Welcome back to day 10 of Going Towards Success. Now, a little bit of a change of scenery. And I'm not talking about my Scux chair, I'm talking about the screen. Basically, last video, if you haven't watched it, it's about discipline and motivation. You should definitely do that because I give you some good insights to things I've learned about discipline and motivation through my self-improvement journey. But we did it on Canva and I was doing some drawing. Now, this time, we're still on Canva, but we're doing it in a presentation form. The reason we're doing this is I'm going to actually do a little bit more in-depth talking, and I want to try out some different ways of producing content for you lads and seeing if I can build off my ideas a bit better and not be thinking so much about drawing. But I'll probably still go back to Canva. I just don't have a mouse. I work completely from my touchpad on my laptop, so it makes it kind of hard to fucking draw. Anyway, lads, this is a guide to drugs. Yeah, you heard me right, a guide to drugs. But it's not about doing drugs, it's about getting off of them. So, my experience with drugs started when I was probably 14 or something. I started with, believe it or not, smoking weed. And at the time, I was with some people who were my good mates. They were my best friends at the time. A lot of them I grew up with. And there was one particular one that I was hanging out with a lot who was a newer friend, my closest friend, someone that I called my brother. All of them I called my brother. Now these guys, we would go to my old primary school and we would smoke some bongs in just wherever we could, just in the grounds. We'd go on the roof, watch the sunset, shit like that, get super high, drink a lot of alcohol, go home, fuck around, play like Call of Duty or some shit I think it was. A lot of them used to live near mountains here or at Gold Coast called Tallebudgera, and would go up to the mountains and explore a bit, get stoned. Now, eventually, through what happens with drugs, and it will get down to it in the loss of self, is that they were shit. They were shit friends. They weren't real brothers. We were doing drugs, and that's also my part. I was a shit friend. I wasn't a real brother because I wasn't telling them that we should stop this. Which we all got stuck in the drug ring, as I guess you can call it. But eventually I met my real brothers, the brothers who've had my back to this day, who still have my back, who've climbed the mountain of self-improvement with me and are continuing to do so. Now these are the people you need in life. These people are your family. These are the people who will back you no matter what, who will continue to climb and continue to improve themselves, and who tell you how it needs to be done. They were the only people who told me that the friends I was with were shit. They still did drugs and smoked weed, but they were actually real people who actually had real souls and wasn't just focused on the drugs. They were doing drugs, they were focused on actually having friends. And we'll get into obviously getting off and all that stuff, because that's how we met, was through doing drugs. Funnily enough, I used to deal weed to these people, and they came bought weed from me one time and we smoked it, and ever since then we have literally been the closest mates you can be, literal real brothers. But going on to it, your family, I was very unfortunate. A lot of my family did that kind of stuff, so I was around it all the time, even when I was away from my friends. And they were very lenient with it, if that's even the right word. Lenient is probably still an understatement. But because of that, you eventually lose yourself, right? You aren't hanging around with real people telling you what to do. There's only a couple of people at the gym that I'd go to do boxing and Muay Thai stuff who are actually real and tell you how it is. And with that, you start to lose yourself, especially me. I was at a young age, through my entire life, I always saw myself as like a conqueror, right? Someone who was destined to go out and get my shit. But I lost myself completely to playing video games, smoking weed all day, and no one around me told me better or to do something different. So eventually I lost myself. And because of that, there is a literal fog in your mind that clouds your entire life. It clouds the way you talk to your family. The friends you have, it clouds the way you think of yourself. It clouds the actions you're supposed to be doing. It clouds the actions you are doing. And it clouds the entire pathway that you should be taking to have a successful life and a beneficial life, which all comes from up here. You gotta have the mind unfold. You gotta have real brothers around you so that you do not lose yourself and you continue to build a good family for yourself and eventually, hopefully, your kids. But what happens if you have been on them like I have been? You need to get the fuck off them. That's all it is. Eventually time does run out. Eventually you will lose your most important years, which is as a young man. You're pretty much, you're 14 to, I'd say almost like 50 or some shit, but obviously I can't fully say that because I'm not 50 yet, but I would assume it goes up to pretty old and when your body starts running down. But eventually it happens. As someone who works in a bar and sees a lot of the people on drug stuff, their lives ain't good, boys. They are depressed, they don't have family, the ones that they do are shit, they don't have teeth, they don't have, their stories are all the same, right? They think they have these amazing stories, but they talk about this funny time someone got high on acid or smoked so much cones and shit. It's depressing as fuck. And eventually your time does run out. Eventually you will die, and you will die a drug addict if you do not get the fuck off them. And that's a shame. It's a real shame if you do. You don't want that. You don't want to be a peasant who lives like that. It's just fucking, it is the epitome of failing life. That's basically what it is, and you do not want to run out. And also on top of that, it eventually gets to a point where there is no point of return. You might still be alive, but you will do drugs for the rest of your life if you choose to. So get the fuck off of them, run the fuck away from them, and make sure you don't lose your mind. It also ties into time running out, because if you do it long enough, you will lose your mind. These people, they rant about the same shit, they discuss the same shit, they think they're funny, or they know about God, or they're on this holy path, but all they do is drink alcohol every single day. I mean every single day. Smoke weed every day, talk about cocaine and all this dumb shit, right? They have lost their mind. They don't have good stories. Very few of them can give you information, and the only information they can give you is the knowledge of things you shouldn't do, right? They've completely gone mental. A lot of them are literally basically insane. When you see a lot of these people, there's darkness in their eyes. It's complete loss of mind. And for us young men, it is a complete loss of potential. You know, a lot of these people, they've already hit their max, their potential is gone. Obviously, it's very rare that the potential can still shine through and you can still be maximized. But talking on a general aspect, once you get to like your 35s, your potential's gone or it's completely dimmed. It's very hard to build back, to become something successful, to become a winning man, the epitome of being a king, right? You've lost that potential all because you didn't get the fuck off them, and you waste your time doing drugs like a fucking loser. And on top of that, it is the destruction of yourself and your life, right? Obviously, if you've lost your potential and you've lost your mind, you've completely lost yourself, and you've also lost your life. If you don't have your mind, you don't have the ability to live or to create something of your life, then your time has run out and you've completely destroyed everything that is of true value to you, right? Even if you're poor and homeless, you still have something. You still have your mind and you're still alive, and you should be grateful for that. But if you use drugs, well, you're just a walking zombie, basically. Now, it doesn't matter what you do to get off them, as long as you get off them. It's essential. There's two ways. There's cold turkey, and I don't know how other people call it, but the slow roast, right? I've tried both, and it was more the slow roast for me. Obviously, people can do the cold turkey. Andrew Tate, he just got off alcohol, which is fucking awesome. Not many people have that mental strength, and especially at our young age, lads, it takes time to cultivate a mind that resilient and that strong and that in control. It's not something that just happens overnight. So a lot of us won't be doing the cold turkey effect. If you don't know what it is, the cold turkey effect is basically, I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. And I never drink alcohol anymore. That is the cold turkey. That is how you do it. Now, the slow roast is you wean yourself off of it. And I'll get into how I did that, but yeah, it takes some time. And you understand it's going to take some time. You don't beat yourself up about it, but you slowly wean off of it, and eventually you cold turkey and you don't do it anymore. So for me, I did do the slow roast. It took me a while. This is going to be probably my first year where I don't really touch that shit. Maybe I have a drink every now and then, or maybe for my birthday or something, if I do something successful with my boys, but yeah, I'm pretty much off of all that shit, and I like it. I don't do cigarettes. I used to be highly addicted to cocaine. Don't do that. Weed, I haven't touched in like over a year now. I think is, well, probably a little less, maybe like 9 months or something. So it's been a long time. And alcohol, yeah, I'm sticking away from as much as possible because I don't want to do it. I like my mind. I like having my potential, and also my mind. But how I did it is through the slow roast, basically. For most of it, but I'll use cigarettes as the example because the best way to do it. Every time I would get a cigarette, and sometimes I wouldn't realize, but I'd have it in my mouth and I was smoking it. I would say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't. The entire time I was smoking, I would say in my mind, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, or this will kill me, this will kill me. I would say very bad things about it, right? And as you're doing it, it would literally I'd have like 4 puffs, and because I've been saying like constantly in my mind, I'd look and be like, I don't want this, and ash that dog. Get rid of it, right? And that was with everything. I would be drinking and I'd be like, I don't really want to do this, I don't really want to do this. I might still drink a little bit more, and then eventually I'd be like, no, I don't want to do this, I'd go. Same with bongs. It's just the thing with weed is, because it makes you paranoid when you do the whole, I don't want this, I don't want this. You get actively very paranoid, you get very scared, you're in a state of anxiety. I'd be sitting there, my boys would be talking to me and they're like, you're all good, and I just couldn't think straight because all I was thinking about is how I don't want this, and it would make me panic. But because of that, I can barely touch it no more, which is good. If you have to use scare tactics to get yourself away from the evil, then do it. Obviously, there's a lot of things in life that you shouldn't run away from. You should be brave, but it's one of those things that's a complete mental game. If you can use any tool you can to counteract the addiction or you wanting it or the desire, do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Same with cocaine. I used God for cocaine actually because it was very hard. I would tell myself, this is not what God wants for me, this is not what God wants for me. And I'm very clean from cocaine now, which is good. It's something that you don't realize you're doing so much, and I was doing it about 2 years ago. I was doing it every day. I got it for free at work, so I was doing it literally every day. And I haven't really gone back to that. And with drinking, of course, I don't really drink anymore. Every now and then I went 6 months, and then I celebrated with one of my brothers because we had a little win, but barely got that drunk. So, I mean, although I haven't quit, I have slowed down a lot, which is a major improvement and something that I've definitely progressed on. And it's all a mental game, and there's a lot of mental things you learn from it. Anyway, what it's like going from a zombie to a king, someone who's progressing and actually doing self-improvement from thinking they are, telling themselves they are. Basically, it's a dark hole, boys. There's going to be times where you're going to feel lost, or you're going to really want to do it. You're going to be talking yourself into it. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to that wording. Don't listen to the desire at all. Have a desire that is stronger than the desire to do drugs or alcohol. And doing that will allow you to get off of it, right? I want to do progressive things. I want to be a man for my family. I want to have kids who are proud of me as their dad. And that's not going to happen from doing drugs and alcohol and smoking weed, right? I'll do the complete opposite. So it's a dark hole sometimes. You sit there and you're missing out on people doing shit, or especially for me being a pub, you're sitting like, man, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then you've got to remind yourself, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. Or say your desire. Say the things that are important. Even if you have to, obviously I would assume you guys don't work at a bar, go the fuck away. If people are drinking, just leave. If they're your friends drinking and they've invited you to their birthday, just leave. Who gives a fuck? If they know you're trying to get off of it and they're drinking around you and they get mad because you leave because your addiction to it is getting too strong, bro, they're not real friends, they're not brothers. Leave them. See, I'm very lucky. All of my boys saw what I was doing and they're on the same journey now. They're all pretty much completely off of it. They're progressing very hard. They're doing a lot more. They're progressing in their paths, and it's fucking amazing to see. And also with that is we hold each other up. We get to have conversations. Like, remember the times we used to do that? Man, look at how much older we've grown and shit like that, right? That's real brothers. These are people who are climbing the mountain. Like I said before, the other ones were fake, whereas these boys, even though we're doing drugs, we've always got each other's back and we'll always follow like through the fire pretty much. And even if sometimes it's harsh or very very unhinged the way we can, push each other to do better, like not giving each other the warm shoulder to put someone's head on it, right? You're giving them like, nah, that's not good, you're weak, or shaming them for it, right? That it might sound bad, but that is what real brothers do. They don't give a fuck. They will help you get your goals, and they will punish you for not achieving it or for relapsing or doing the wrong things. So that's what real brothers is. Once though you have gone off of it and you're not a zombie anymore, you start to get true insight. You start to actually understand your whys. You get to actually understand what it is in life you want. The things you understand, your brain starts working again. It's a beautiful thing when you start realizing your mind is working how it should be. And then your vision starts coming back. I don't mean like you're actually blind, like you can't see. I mean, when you're looking around, you can truly understand things. You can understand the things you want, the things you like, the beauty of the sunlight touching your skin, the simplest shit. Your vision is back. You understand what you want in the future. You understand what you want right now, and you understand what you want in a week, right? There's all of that. You understand what it is that happened in the past, and you can create something from it. Basically, your whole life as a whole changes, right? You go from literally being a zombie, someone who's walking dead, waking up at like 5 p.m. because you've just been asleep all day because you just did heaps of drugs and doing it straight away. There was times where I was waking up smoking bongs, going back to sleep, waking up smoking bongs, going back to sleep, right? You are a literal zombie. And going from that to someone who can understand what they want, understand how to build it, understand what they need to see or seeing what they need, and then applying that, it makes your whole life a whole lot better and a whole lot more worth living, and allows your potential to truly succeed into becoming what you're supposed to become. Basically, boys, just fucking do it. Alright, just get off of them. I shouldn't have to explain this at all, but you know, we've all been there, boys, and I can't judge you for being there right now if you are or if you have been there, because I've also been there. And don't beat yourself up. Remember to keep your mind straight, keep it focused. Don't beat yourself up. It takes time. Let it take its time. Let it take its path. But know that the path does come to an end, and either ends with your death as a drug addict, or it ends with you leaving that pathway still alive and becoming a king. And that's what we want, boys. So if you do need any help with, talking or progress or building a stronger mindset, you can contact me on Instagram at King Solomon. It's the same as my YouTube channel. I'll also be adding an ebook soon that you guys will be able to read that helps you strengthen your mind. If this is something you're dealing with, though, boys, make this your first goal, your first war to conquer. Right, go out and get it and truly be it. And if you are doing it, if you are getting off of it, or this has helped you in any way, put it in the comment section. Let me see it, boys. I'd love to see the connections that this video has potentially helped you lads out with. Anyway, that was day 10 of doing YouTube. I'm off the drugs, so I'm progressing on things I want to do, which I'm getting the videos up to help you guys do self-improvement, which is day 10 of doing this consistently. I hope the last 2 videos have been a bit more entertainment or informational for you lads, a little bit more value in them for your self-improvement. And I shall see you guys day 11.